Hello everyone, in today's session we are going to discuss spotting errors theory part 10. Let's begin. First of all, the index, introduction of adverb, some specific adverbs. So in this session we will talk about the introduction of adverb and some specific adverbs. Let's read the disclaimer. The images used in our slide deck are for educational purposes only. We respect the intellectual property rights of the original creators and owners of these images. If you are the owner of any of the images used in this deck and have any concerns or issues, please contact us at sathee@iitk.ac.in and we shall remove the images. Adverb. First of all, read the definition. An adverb is a word that adds more information about a verb, an adjective, or another adverb. So in other words, we can say an adverb is a word which adds some attributes to a verb, adjective, or another adverb. That attribute could be of time, place, manner, frequency, degree, etc. In coming slides, you will understand all these things. Some specific adverbs: fairly, rather, hardly, scarcely, barely, yet, still, since, ever since, too, much and very, seldom, enough. So we will learn all these adverbs in this session. Let's move to another slide. Let's talk about fairly and rather, the use of fairly and rather. Fairly is used with favorable adjectives and adverbs, while rather is used before unfavorable adjectives and adverbs. What is favorable and unfavorable? Favorable means that is suitable to your situation. And unfavorable means that is not suitable to your situation. Likewise, I can say this chair is fairly comfortable. But I can also say this chair is rather uncomfortable. So, like this. I hope you have understood the definition. Let's look at the example. Ram is fairly clever, but Ramesh is rather foolish. So here we have used fairly with clever. So here what it means? Favorable adjective. But Ramesh is rather foolish, unfavorable adjective. So in the next sentence, Ram walks fairly fast, but Anil walks rather slowly. So you can see that fast is an adverb because it is modifying the verb walks here, and fairly is used with the adverb fast. But Anil walks rather slowly. Slowly again is an adverb. Rather here is used with the adverb which is unfavorable. Rather, when used before alike, like, similar, different, etc., and before comparatives, it means a little or slightly. So we can say when we use rather with alike, like, similar, or different, and before comparative degrees, it gives a meaning of a little or slightly. Let's look at the examples. These cats are rather like cubs in some ways. It means a little like cubs, slightly cubs, not completely. The weather was rather hot than we had expected. I hope you have understood. Let's talk about hardly, scarcely, barely. The adverbs hardly, scarcely, and barely are negative, which means almost not in meaning. Hardly is usually used with any, ever, at all, or the verb can. Example: she has hardly any money. It means very little money. The sentence is expressing or giving a negative meaning. We hardly ever go out. It means we very seldom go out. Negative meaning again. One should not be confused with adverbs hard and hardly. So do not get confused with hard and hardly. Example, he looked hard at me. What does it mean? Here, hard means he stared at me. Another example, she hardly looked at me. What does it mean? She gave me only a brief glance or didn't look at all. So, both the words give different meaning. So, don't get confused. And their position is also different. Hard comes after the verb, and hardly comes before the verb. I hope you understood. Hardly, scarcely, barely. Scarcely means almost not and can replace hardly as used above. But scarcely is usually used to mean not quite. Example, there were scarcely 10 people in the meeting. It means probably fewer. Barely means not more than, only just. His voice was barely audible. What does it mean? It was only just audible. There were barely 10 people in the meeting, only just 10. I hope you've understood. Use of still and yet. Both are adverbs of time. Yet means up to the time of speaking. It is usually used with the negative or interrogative context. Still emphasizes what? That the action continues. It is mainly used with the affirmative or negative interrogative context. It can also be used with the negative to emphasize the continuance of an action. So we use yet when something hasn't been done till now. And when something is going on, keep going on, we use still. Example, she has not completed his work yet. So here, yet gives the meaning till now. He hasn't yet applied for the license I told him about. So again, till now. He is still in bed. Has she come? Not yet. The jeep hasn't arrived yet. Yet is normally placed after the verb or after verb plus object. If the object consists of a large number of words, yet can be placed before the verb also. So here we're talking about the placement of yet. So it can be placed after the verb or after the verb plus object. If the object consists of a large number of words, it means a clause or a phrase, yet can be placed before the verb also. Still is placed after the verb be but before other verbs. So with other verbs in place of be, we use before verbs. But with be, we use after be. I hope you have understood. Since and ever since. Since and ever since are used with perfect tenses. Since can be placed in end position after a negative or interrogative verb. Phrases and clauses with since and ever since are usually in end position, though front position is also possible. I hope you have understood. Here we are talking about the positions and the uses. Example, I first met her 3 years ago and have remembered her face ever since. So from the day I met her till now, we are talking about. So the placement of ever since is at the end of the sentence. He has been in bed since his accident. Again, the point we are talking about accident. Use of to. To is different from very. To means excess, more than enough, or more than necessary, or more than is wanted. So to means a negative meaning, actually. Example, he is too weak to walk. What does it mean? It means he is unable to walk. We can use an infinitive structure after to plus adjective, adverb, and determiner. Example, she is too old to work. She is too old to work. Again, she is not that young to work. If the infinitive has its own subject, this is introduced by for. So if an infinitive has its own subject, it can be introduced by using for. Example, it's too late for the shops to be open. So here, the infinitive to be open, which is in a passive construction, has its subject shops and it is placed with the help of for. The subject of a sentence with to can also be the object of the following infinitive. Objects pronouns are not normally used after the infinitive in such cases. So what do you have understood by this? Let's look at the example. The water is too hot to drink. So here we are saying the subject of this verb is water. And the infinitive to drink, the water is the object of the verb drink here. So again, we can read the subject of a sentence with to can also be the object of the following infinitive. So the subject of the sentence can also be the object of the following infinitive. So it is an object also and the subject also. Subject of the verb is an object of the verb to drink. I hope you have understood. The water is too hot to drink it, which is incorrect. However, object pronouns are possible in this structure with for. But with for, object pronouns are possible. Example, the water is too hot for us to drink it. You can omit it as well. If you write without it, it would be correct. 2. The two possible meanings of sentences like, example, he is too stupid to teach, which means he is too stupid to be a teacher. B, he is too stupid for anyone to teach, which means he can't be taught. To is not normally used before adjective plus noun. Example, I put down the bag because it was too heavy, which is correct. I put down the bag, which is the too heavy bag. So it is incorrect because here we have used heavy plus noun. Heavy is an adjective and bag is a noun. So which is incorrect. In a rather formal style, to can be used before adjective plus an plus noun. So in formal styles, we can use it's too cold a day to go out. It's too cold a day to go out. We can't say it's a too cold day to go out, but we can say it's too cold a day to go out. He was too clever a businessman to accept the offer. Let's talk about very and much. Generally, participles are modified by much and adjectives by very. Certain participles which have largely lost their verbal force and are felt to be adjectival. However, they take very. So what do you have understood? Example, the law has been much abused. So here we have used a participle which is a past participle abused and the much is preceding it. Past participle means was the third form of the verb of any verb. It's like play is a base form, played is the second form, and played is the past participle form, the third form. Her dress was much admired. Again, admired is a past participle, and we have used much here to intensify. It is a very good book. So with very takes positive degrees. Good is a positive degree adjective. So With positive degrees use very, and with past participles use much. This is a very old building. She is a very clever girl. Again, clever is a positive degree. Conversely, participles used before a noun to make a compound adjective with a modifying adverb. Take much. So we use much with compound adjective as well. A much abused privilege. A much traveled person. A much discussed question. So compound adjective. Use of seldom. Seldom is an adverb, and we may say, I seldom go to London, but not my visits to London are seldom. For here, we are treating the word as a predicative adjective. Predicate adjective is what? When an adjective is used after the verb or without a noun. It can be used after a verb in this way and then as an adverb only in the following types of construction. I hope you have understood. After it is, or after it was or is, and followed by a that clause in opposition to the anticipatory pronoun it. Anticipatory pronoun what? When it is not acting as a personal pronoun but as a dummy pronoun. It is seldom that we get such an opportunity as this. So it here is not a personal pronoun, it is a dummy pronoun just used to introduce the clause that we get such an opportunity as this. So in a relative clause, how do we use it? In a relative clause that refers back to the whole notion expressed in a preceding clause of time. When she lost her temper, which was seldom, whenever I take a day off from home, which is seldom, use of enough. Adjective or adverb plus enough. When enough modifies an adjective or adverb, it normally comes after the adjective or adverb. Example, is that music loud enough? So here, enough is used after the word loud. Loud is an adjective. That's why we have used or we have placed enough after it. These shoes are not big enough. How much big? Not big enough. You are not driving fast enough. Again, there is another construction, enough plus infinitive. The adverb enough is often followed by an infinitive. She didn't run fast enough to win. So here we have used an infinitive to win and we have used enough before it. It is describing to win, not fast enough. She is old enough to do what she wants. So again, with an infinitive. Infinitives can be introduced by for plus noun and pronoun. Object forms of pronouns are used. It's late enough for the staff to stop work. So we can also use infinitives with for plus noun and pronoun. Object forms are of pronouns are used here. So we have used enough here with for plus noun and pronoun, which is an object of the preposition for. I hope you understood the session. Let's meet in the next session. Till then, thank you.